No matter how much money I have, or how much money I make, or what season of life I'm in, these are the 8 frugal habits I will never quit. 1. Upgrading my life sustainably. The thing about life is that as you get older, you're gonna change. What you want is gonna change, and your life circumstances are gonna change. For example, when you're in your 20s in college with little responsibilities, you'll probably be fine living in a dorm room with 3 people. But once you're 30 with an adult job, you'll probably want some privacy and live in your own spacious apartment. And when you're in your 40s with a family, you'll probably want even more space and live in a single family home. Generally, as you get older, your standards get higher and your life becomes more complex. But with those changes, it's important to make sure that you're upgrading your life sustainably. For example, once you go from the dorm room to a private apartment, it's important to make sure you can afford the upgrade. If your salary is $60,000, make sure you choose a place that's under 30% of your income. Do it in a sustainable way, instead of saying, I am older, I deserve nicer things. And the first habit I will never quit is always making sure I'm upgrading my life sustainably, making sure that as my standards change, I don't run into lifestyle inflation where I base my spending off my salary and start to run into financial problems. The second habit is getting the big 3 right. Now, saving money is good and important, but sometimes saving money is pointless. For example, you could reuse Ziploc bags to save money, but in a year, it might only save you $5. Instead, when it comes to saving money, it's important to focus on what I call the big 3: housing, transportation, and food, which consist of the bulk of your budget. These big 3 expenses consist of the bulk of your budget, and if you can get these big 3 expenses right, then the small things don't really matter. For example, by avoiding a car payment, you can save $500 a month or $6,000 a year, which is much more significant than saving $5 a year by reusing plastic bags. And so the second habit I will never quit is always focusing on making sure I'm not overspending in these 3 categories. Because if I am able to get these 3 expenses right, it's much easier to maximize my savings and never go over budget. The third habit I will never quit is protecting my future self. The key to a strong financial life is all about balance. Making sure you're living comfortably now while also setting yourself up for the future. And for many people, finding this balance is very difficult because they either focus too much on the present, spending freely without thinking about the future, or only focus on the future, saving aggressively but never enjoying the present. But instead, it's important to find the balance between the 2 extremes, which involves creating a budget that allows you to enjoy today while avoiding debt and consistently saving and investing. It's important to enjoy the present, but it should never come at the cost of your future security. And the third habit that I will never quit is always taking steps to protect my future self, so I don't wake up one day in a financial hole that I cannot get out of. And another important component to protecting your future self is making sure that you're safe in this digital world, as you or I could go to any data broker's website right now and buy anyone's data for a few bucks. And this practice is perfectly legal, and also big companies are failing to keep our data safe and are getting hacked every day, and your personal information is being sold on the dark web, so spammers and identity thieves can target you. Which is why I'm excited to talk about Aura, who is the sponsor of today's video. Aura does all the hard work of keeping me safe online. Aura will identify data brokers who are selling my information and submit opt-out requests on my behalf so I get less spam. They also alert me when my information has been part of a data breach or leaked on the dark web, and give me fast fraud alerts if anyone tries to use that data to access my credit or bank accounts. Plus, they give me up to $5 million in identity theft insurance should the worst case scenario happen. And in addition, they have a VPN with over 100 virtual locations, which comes in handy when you're traveling to other countries. Now more than ever, it's important to protect yourself in this digital world. So stop leaving yourself vulnerable to data breaches and data brokers, and click on the link in my description or go to aura.com/AustinWilliams or scan the QR code to try Aura 14 days for free to see if any of your data has been exposed. And thank you, Aura, for sponsoring this video. The fourth habit I will never quit is playing a strong defense. The other day I was driving my car, and I was thinking how finances is a lot like driving a car, because when you're driving a car, most of what is going on is out of your control. Like people changing lanes, speeding, and road rage, but the only thing that you do have control over is how you choose to drive. And although you can't prevent all bad things from happening, that control can allow you to avoid a lot of danger on the road. For example, if a guy in a pickup truck is riding your ass, and let's be honest, it is always a guy in a pickup truck. I don't know what pickup trucks do to men's psychology, but it sure does make them feel insecure. But in that situation, you have two options. Play offense and try to control the uncontrollable situation, or two, play defense and avoid the situation. And you're much safer on the road by playing a strong defense. And it is the exact same with finances. There is so much going on in the world that is out of our control, like the economy, inflation, stock market fluctuations, and politics. And if you focus on those things, you will feel powerless. But if you instead play a strong defense and focus on the things you do have control over, like creating a budget, building an emergency fund, and living a frugal lifestyle, then you'll probably be fine no matter what happens. Just like how letting a big macho man and his big pickup truck pass you on the road is going to keep you safer, playing a strong defense is going to keep you safer financially. And that is another habit that I will never quit. The fifth habit is adjusting my spending based on life circumstances. In my opinion, frugality is this amazing skill that allows you to adapt to whatever life throws at you. For example, when life is going well and you're safe financially, you can lighten up a bit and spend more freely. But when times get tough, you can be more cautious with your spending and tighten it up a little bit. Frugality is this amazing skill that allows you to adapt to whatever this chaotic world throws at you. It allows you to roll with the punches of life, less harmed. And another habit I will never quit is always adapting to whatever is going on in life. If I'm concerned about what's going on in the economy, I'll hold off on some of my big purchases, or if my income takes a nosedive, I'll cut some of my non-discretionary spending. I'll adapt and adjust instead of feeling powerless. 6. Keeping my recurring expenses in check. Recurring expenses are one of the easiest ways for your budget to get out of hand. I mean, in the modern economy, it is so easy to fall into the subscription trap, where you pay for one subscription here and another there, and the next thing you know, you're paying $100 for every streaming service membership. Many people are spending hundreds of dollars on things that they aren't even using. And another habit that I will never quit is making sure that I'm always analyzing my budget and keeping my recurring expenses in check. For example, during Christmas, I subscribed to Netflix to watch Squid Game. And once I finished it, I kept the subscription thinking I might enjoy watching other shows. But after 2 months, I realized I was never watching Netflix and canceled it. I don't believe in paying for things that I don't use, and I will always stay on top of my bank statements and make sure I'm not paying for something I'm not even using. So I free up more money for saving, investing, and buying more things that bring me joy in life instead of just wasting money. 7. Treat treats as treats. Now, I enjoy treating myself just as much as anyone else. However, what I have noticed is that when I treat myself too much, it becomes less of a treat and just becomes normal. For example, one thing I treat myself more than I should is eating out because I don't always want to cook. And sometimes I get in the flow of eating out multiple days a week that I stop viewing a meal out as a treat, and it's just something to be lazy about. And also, these small treats ultimately become a much bigger expense. For example, a meal out might cost me $15 to $25, and if I do that 4 times a week, that's $240 to $400 a month. And another frugal habit I will never quit is always treating treats as treats. I'll keep my spending in check, and if something that once was a luxury now is normal, I'll analyze my habits so I don't overspend and I don't just start taking everything for granted. And the final frugal habit that I will never quit is having below average taste. Now, this one might sound like a joke, but honestly, it is one of my money-saving superpowers. I have always had modest, or to many people's standards, below average taste. I have never felt the need to have the latest designer clothes, the trendiest gadgets, or the fanciest car. I mean, it's starting to get warmer here in Georgia, and every day this summer, you will see me rocking my Levi's shorts and a $10 tank top from Target. I don't need nice things in order to be happy, and I am more than content having below average taste, whereas so many people I know need fancy clothes, need to eat at fancy restaurants, and need to drive a nice car in order to be happy, and because of that, they have trouble making a sustainable budget and saving money. Don't get me wrong, I do enjoy nice things, I'm never depriving myself, but I've just never cared to live an extremely luxurious life. I'm just a blue jeans and t-shirt kind of guy, and I will keep this habit of having below average taste so I have more money to prioritize financial freedom, security, and peace of mind, and those are the 8 frugal habits that I will never quit. With that, muchas gracias, que tenga un buen día, nos vemos chicos.